All right. Welcome to Clarity Sessions with Bill Fouth, where we cut through the noise and bring you real, practical clarity on money, business, mindset, and everything in between. Now, if you're a mompreneur, a business owner, or someone who's just ready to take more control of your financial life, this is your space. No fluff, no overwhelm, just simple, powerful insights you can actually use. Because let's be real. When you got the right clarity, you make better decisions, and better decisions lead to a whole different life. And so let's get into it. Today's question is,
can someone save for retirement without having access to a company 401k?
the question is, can I even save for retirement if I don't have a 401k? That's a great question. And the answer is yes. So let me put it in context. A 401k is an IRS tax code label or section that provides the language for for-profit corporations to offer a retirement plan for their employees so that they can put money away for their future in retirement. So behind that implies that you're an employee and you're working for a corporation. So if you're not working for a big corporation or even a small corporation that offers a 401k, the need to save for retirement is still paramount. It's up to you to decide how you want to, invest for your future. The 401k is a vehicle that lets you do that. And sometimes, if you have a 401k and your employer matches, you definitely want to at least do up to the match. So some employers will, if you put money in, they'll put money in for you. So and they want to incentivize you to save for retirement. And employers use the 401k or benefits package to create stickiness, so there's not a lot of turnover. It costs businesses a lot of money when employees leave because they got to retrain somebody and they lose benefits and so on. So the idea of they want to make it so that people have an incentive to stay, and by matching, it's like going to the bank. You put in $100 and they put in $100 for you. The bank matches it. It's found money, so it's 100% return before you even invest the money. But if you don't have that available to you, then the idea is that you need to create alternative ways of savings. And, as we get into this, there are many ways to save. There's individual retirement accounts, IRAs, and Roth IRAs, where you can put money aside for yourself. But the idea is that, you're here in time and you want to get to some point in the future where the lack of money is no longer an issue in your life. And then you're doing what you're doing because you love what you do, not because you have to go to work. Since we weren't born with a silver spoon in our mouth, or assuming we weren't, and we have to earn the money, we have to create the nest egg, we have to create the retirement fund, then there are certain principles that you need to align with to make that happen. The idea is you want to make taxes and inflation your friend. And the idea of making inflation your friend, there are two big asset classes or categories of things you want to invest in that do that. One of them is real estate, and the other one is owning equities of big companies, publicly traded companies that are professionally managed, because they tend to go up over time with inflation. So if you're on that train and the prices go up, your net worth is going up over time. So that's where to invest. The question is, if I don't have that money, or I don't have a 401k that's going to do that for me, then I got to do it myself. Now, one of the things that I find is the capacity to have the ability to save means that you have to have a certain amount of money in buckets. We'll use the envelope system or the bucket system. You should have a healthy emergency fund. You should have 3 to 6 months worth of cash reserves or money in the bank so that if you lose your job or you have a health issue or you can't work, that you still have money somewhere you can go to that you can pay your bills. You're not going to be going bankrupt, or your creditors aren't going to come after you, that kind of thing. I have some clients that are teachers and they live paycheck to paycheck because they know that they've got tenure and they got the next paychecks coming in. So they're never going to be in a situation where they're going to have to worry about losing their job. I have other clients that are, not happy unless they got a year's worth of savings in the bank. And because of their business owners and the vagaries of the ups and downs of their cash flow, they never know, when business is going to be good or when there's going to be a down cycle. So they have to have a healthy cash flow set aside, and don't feel comfortable until they do have at least 3 to 6 or a year's worth of money set aside. But once that money's set aside, that money is safe money. It's also lazy money. It's not growing very fast. The goal of that money is not growth. The goal of that money is safety and peace of mind, and it's emergency money. You want to have another bucket of money that is growth money, and it's not spending money, and it's money for the future. That's your retirement money. That's the money for the down payment on your house. That's the money to send your kids to college. So the idea is, as a business owner or a person who wants to retire someday, your goal is to have a bucket over here that's not spending money, that you grow for the long term. And then the idea is that you want to put it in a place where it's tax friendly. You know, the idea, if we draw a circle right now, draw a line down the middle, about 50% of our income goes out to taxes, between state income tax, federal income tax, and self-employment tax, Social Security tax. The other 50% we keep and goes in our pocket. So the goal is to try to make it so that we can save 25 to 30% of the money that's going out to taxes to keep in our pocket. That's where the 401k would help. You get a tax deduction if you do a traditional 401k. The problem is that short-term thinking. You want to do a Roth 401k because we'll talk about that in another video. But the idea is you want to put money aside where it's going to be tax deferred or tax friendly. So owning real estate, let me back up here. And this is where I'm going to put some of you to sleep here, because we're talking about taxes. And the idea, the way income is taxed in this country is we tax the not the growth of the money, we tax the income from the money. So if I'm an employee, I get wages and that gets taxed. If I earn interest on my savings, the interest is taxed. If I earn dividends on my stocks, the dividends are taxed. If I receive rent from my tenants, the rent is taxed. But the value of the CD that's generating the interest, or the value of the house that's growing in value, or the stocks that are growing in value, aren't taxed until we sell them, until there's a transaction. And there's a very wise reason for that. And it's because when there's a transaction, there's money available to pay the tax. If the money is tied up in the house and you try to tax the house, where's the money coming from to pay the tax? It creates an adverse tax consequence, and it creates a financial hardship for the people who have to pay the tax. This is one of the issues with farmers having to pay estate taxes after the parents died, and they would lose generational wealth and have to lose the family farm because they had to pay estate taxes, and there was no liquidity in the farm. They could earn income every year, but they had to sell the farm in order to pay the estate tax. That's all changed now because of the new rules. But the idea is we tax the transactional increase where there's cash flow. So the idea is that we want to invest in things that go up over time. So I guess I'm getting lost in the question here. So the idea is that the original question was, if I don't have a 401k, can I still save for retirement? And the answer is yes. So the idea is that having an emergency fund, then having long-term savings, and then where to put that we can talk about. We'll talk about that on other videos. You also want to own some real estate, whether your primary residence and your creature comfort. And, that's one of the things that's in the political debate right now, is that, the cost of a first-time home is so exorbitant that people are having trouble buying a first-time home. And, home ownership is happening later and later in life. And that's one of the major engines for driving financial wealth, is that real estate goes up over time. So if you buy a house in your 20s and by the time you're in your 60s, it's doubled and tripled or quadrupled in value, it's part of your nest egg. That's not happening until people are actually, in their 30s or even 40s before they're buying a home. So there's less time for the money to grow in the real estate. So that's where our Congress is trying to change some of the rules to make that more user-friendly, or give people incentives to be able to buy, or be able to get down payments to buy. So I think I'm going to leave the question there. The short answer is yes, you need to save regardless of whether you have a 401k. The 401k is simply a vehicle that allows you to save through an employer-sponsored plan. If you're not an employer, then you can set up your own plan. If you're self-employed, you can set up your own plan. But the goal is you need to save. Now, how to save, we'll talk about in another video. Thank you.